back to Voices Rising, and I'm here with my good friends Rochelle and Linda. We're back again.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Well, I think we have an interesting topic. Well, this is a topic I, have given a lot of thought to, which is what is our legacy beyond success? Because a lot of times we measure success by titles, by our income, right? We're successful, we make X amount of money, we all have opinions about that, the awards we receive or the recognition that we receive. But a legacy goes much deeper than that. A legacy really is, what am I leaving behind? Because, what is that expression on your tombstone is going to be, the year you were born and the year you died, and in between there is a dash.
Yeah.
What is your dash representing?
Yeah.
Because people really aren't going to remember, oh, she made this much money, or she did this, or she did that. It's interesting because my dad passed away years ago, but my mom just in the last 3 years. And, it's always difficult when you lose a parent, but the legacy that she created has had a huge impact on us as her children, her grandchildren, people in the community because of who she was. So I think it's important that we give some thought to that. So what is the impact that you are leaving on people, on your communities, and also future generations? In the women, and you talked about that in one of the podcasts, is not having children doesn't mean that you are not having an impact on all the young women that are in your life, whether it's through work or whether it's through your friends, families.
Yep.
You have a huge impact, and that's going to leave an impact on those people. So legacy beyond success asks the question, when the applause fades, what remains? And it's not just about achievement, but who helped you rise? Who are you helping rise? How did you make people feel? What are the values that you stand for that are having an impact on these people around you? And also, what is the wisdom that you have passed on? So, we do have a lot to say. We're talking about leadership. We have a lot to say about that. So it's looking at your life. It's like looking in the rearview mirror. And one of the first things you're going to look at is what is your legacy lens. So you're looking in that mirror and you're looking behind you as if you're driving a car. So what do you see that you have left behind, or what you hope to leave behind? So do you want to make some comments?
I
on
hope that people saw me as a survivor. So the abuse certainly at a young age. When my marriage went bad, I still rose, and I was able to get through that, and I was able to, to continue with my career. That I wasn't somebody that gave up easily. That I was somebody that just kind of did what they had to do and got the job done and didn't have the pity parties and kind of pushed through. My assistant used to always say to me, "You're the toughest person I know, but in a good way." Like she always just said you could take on a lot and you were able to handle a lot. So I hope that I've taught my children, my stepdaughter, my son, that, sometimes you just do have to push through, and sometimes you just have to rise above it. And the road isn't going to always be easy. And we know Darius's challenge with learning and how well he's doing now, but it wasn't easy. And I think he has learned from that he doesn't give up, and that he has a level of persistence in order to achieve his dreams. He saw the end goal.
So now, did you consciously make those decisions, or was it the process of working on yourself, obviously, that created who, that you could handle all those things? But did you consciously think about a legacy at an earlier point in your life?
Yeah, I think with the abuse, it was like, there's no way that what happened to me was going to hold me back. That was a conscious one. And it's very important, because I think we've talked about abuse, is sometimes you don't even realize it's happening. I didn't realize it fully until I was in high school. And then it was like, I'm going to show them. I'm going to be successful. I left a small town of 500 people. I moved to Toronto. I made some of those big decisions. To continue to move forward. It wasn't something that I woke up with every day, I'm going to show, but it was who I wanted people to know I was.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about you, Rochelle? What do you hope to leave behind, and did you consciously make that decision, or
You know what? It's not something I've really thought a lot about. I mean, I'm 41. Um, I think I've been trying to really focus a lot on the impact of the work I'm doing and
Mhm.
how I'm choosing to do it.
Mhm.
Um, what I mean by that is being authentic, showing up, um, really using my voice in different ways now. Um, I'm looking for before I was looking for mastery of things, but now I'm really looking for impact, and
Yes.
I'm looking for um really just like aligning within myself.
Mhm.
Really meeting like am I working at my
Yeah.
authentic self? Um so I'm not really thinking a lot about like my legacy. I feel like I'm just getting started. Like I feel like I'm
Mhm.
just scratching the
Yes. Yeah.
surface
Yeah.
of because I do feel for the past 6 years in my career, I feel like it has, especially the past 3 years, it's probably been the most important work and impactful work that I've done,
Mhm.
where I could visibly see a change in people. And I think just in the industry we work in, it was evident, right? You could feel that, you could see that. I felt like there was just more layered relationships. So now looking at, I don't know, the next 20 years of my career, right? Because I'm 41. Um, I really hope that there is more of that work, that good work that I can
Yes.
do,
Yeah.
that is significant and that is
Yeah.
impactful
Yeah.
and really just helps contribute to community, but even but larger community,
Yeah.
like more of at
Mhm.
scale.
Yeah.
That's really what I
Yeah.
hope to do
Yeah.
when I think about legacy.
Yeah, I think my conscious thing, though, was always I wanted to help women. So I
Yes.
was
Yeah.
excited to be involved in an organization where women were the
Yeah.
bulk of our
Yeah.
organization, but that was always a conscious moment of wanting to be able to always
Mm.
pass on and to inspire and to motivate other
Yes.
women. So
Yeah.
that's something that has lived with me for a very long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. And, well, now that you'll have something else now to be on your mind is what is my legacy, Rochelle. But I guess I was very fortunate, and I did just briefly mention in a previous podcast that I was not even 30 when my mentor she rarely raised her voice, but she raised her voice to
Mm.
me and said, make a decision about who you are. You're either going to be this positive, upbeat, motivational person, or you're
Mhm.
gonna be this, I was yelling at my husband, or this shrew, you
Yeah,
can't be both.
yeah.
So at a fairly young age, I was made very aware. And what that taught me was to really look at what was I leaving behind? And I know it's crazy maybe to be thinking at it at 30. It's certainly not something I dwelt on or even 40 because you feel like you have your whole life ahead of you.
Mhm.
But I did off and on, like, who am I and what am I leaving behind? Because this is not going to go on forever. So I would take time annually to reflect on, a lot of different things, obviously, once a year to sit down. I would do that
Mhm.
between Christmas and New Year's because that was the
Yeah.
slow time in my business and to really reflect on where was my business going.
Mhm.
And in your case, in corporate careers or any job, like this, should I be here? Should I stay here? But I would really spend some time thinking about who I was becoming as
Yeah.
a person and what did I not like about who I was at that time? How else could I evolve? How could I change myself? And what was I going to do to cause that change? So, and to also look back, because we all have moments, and I would look back at moments when I thought, what did I do this past year that I was really not proud of? Really not
Mm.
proud of the person I was in that moment.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it comes from fatigue, from, suppressed emotions, that the lid blows off or whatever. And the one thing I learned about, I guess this kind of relates to that because when you have moments you're not proud of, usually you're angry about something. And
Mhm.
our emotions are under layers, and I learned to recognize, especially in other people, when someone was angry with me, I I knew that underneath the anger was just covering up disappointment.
Mhm.
Generally, hurt is first. You got anger, then hurt, then disappointment. So I would try to look beyond the anger and go, what have I done that's hurt them, or are they disappointed in me? So that was another thing. So you look back, it's like, what did I do this year that I'm really not proud of, and I'm determined not to repeat. So I'm sure
Yeah,
we've all had those
I
moments.
think that
absolutely.
reflection, this is off
It's
topic, but I
huge.
think that reflection every year is really important. Is
It's
are the
huge.
people that I'm
Mhm.
hanging around, you know,
Mhm.
helping me, bettering me,
Mhm.
challenging me, or am
Mhm.
I hanging out with the status quo? And I think really assessing the year that you've had and the year that you want to aspire to. And it's not always about business. It might be about
Mhm.
spending more time with your kids
Yep.
or spending more time and being present. I mean, that was something that I
Yes.
really tried to focus on, of being present where I was. If I was
Mhm.
out working, I was working.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I was at home, spending time with Darius, I was there.
Yeah.
You're trying to be that present person.
Yeah.
And certainly now in my retirement with my granddaughter, I really try to focus on that
Yeah.
and be
Yeah.
present with her when I'm with her.
Especially when they're
Mhm.
so
She's
little,
so cute.
because yeah,
She's
she's so
so
adorable.
cute.
And and then you establish those relationships that she'll always be connected to grandma.
Yeah.
Because when they're teenagers, their friends and things take more importance than sometimes. But yeah, that's so cool. So, looking at leadership legacy is also about energy. I mean, leadership, you have, it's like if you can just think of an energy circle, or just the circle of your life. And we only have so much energy. We talked before about, when you're in a people business and working with people all the time, they take little bits of yourself.
Mhm.
So, how do you fill that up? But you're going to have part of that circle is your faith, if that's important to you,
Mhm.
Yeah.
your family, your career, and all the other things, your sports activities, your entertainment, all of these things. And there are no do-overs. When I would sit down and reflect on what did I do that I really wasn't proud of, that is not going to be eliminated from your life. But there are makeovers. So you can work on
Mhm.
yourself and remake yourself. And actually, I would do it actually twice a year. The Christmas and New Year's was a major time, but our year end in my business was always June 30th. So that was always another time that,
Yeah.
because you can't, in a whole year, you're going to forget a whole lot. So you would do it a couple of times a year. And you need humility to do this. You
Mhm.
have to be humble enough to look at yourself and go, I really messed up, or I really need to have a makeover. So, have you guys got any examples of any makeover you've had to do? We're getting
Oh,
into the
yeah.
real nitty gritty
Mm.
now.
I mean, I think, really important is your past does not define your future. And I think you have to
Mhm.
understand that. I mean, we used to in our organization do these analysis is called 360s, and it's where your colleagues would
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
review you. And oh,
And no name on the
Well,
nope,
thing,
we
right?
didn't know
It was
about
all
that.
anonymous.
You
Yeah.
sent in a list of people, and they would really get into in depth into your leadership,
Mhm.
how they see you, and that was some very hard learning when I had my first one done. And it was interesting to watch people that did it, because you had the people that was like, I know who said that.
Mhm.
I never did that. I never went, well, that person said this.
Yeah.
I really took it internally, and I had to learn some hard things that I had to change, and I worked really hard on those things. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I think, you have got to be humble enough to understand that you're not perfect. You have to be humble enough to be willing to look and to change those things, because you could be as angry as you want, but if we're not, there's a
Yeah.
reason that those people are
Yes.
perceiving that, and it becomes a reality of
Yeah.
how they view you. And you
Mhm.
have to make those changes.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
sometimes we're
Yes.
not perfect,
Yeah.
but we just have
Yeah.
to learn that we have to change
Yes.
sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, 360s, I feel that they're flawed in many ways, but
Mhm.
if you take it for what it is,
Yes.
and if there is anything common from it,
If
100%,
There's a common thread.
that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get an
Yes.
isolated
Yes.
comment, you want to
That's
look
it.
at that
Yeah.
but if there's
That's it.
a thread happening,
Yeah.
you've got to change.
Yeah. Common denominator. Yeah, for sure. I guess when we talk about makeover, I feel like I'm kind of going through that right now in many ways, where I want to approach things differently, but also bringing things, that are familiar from the past, because I know they're going to benefit the organization. I know they're going to benefit communication, culture, all of the important things that really makes a company a standout company. So I feel like I'm going through a little bit. I don't know if I call it a makeover, but I'm going through um, like a transition of that
Mhm.
where I'm still bringing the systems and what I know that actually works and has benefited me in the
Yeah.
past and trying to implement those things into the
Yeah.
business that I'm currently in. But I will say I do think that it takes a lot of time to adjust your attitude to expectations as well.
Mm.
Um, I think that
Yes.
comes with it too. Like you have to approach it with the perspective of, okay, I have to approach it with the best attitude I can because I have to give it a chance. I have to be open,
Yeah.
optimistic, and
Yeah.
flexible to this.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so I would say that's probably where my makeover transition
Mhm.
comes from. And remaining
Yes.
humble
Yeah.
as well through the process. Because I don't know everything and I'm not going to know everything, but I do know what I know and I want to
Yeah.
honor that.
Yeah.
Um, and still use those skills, but there is a lot of room as well to grow
Yeah.
and develop and
Yeah.
to remain flexible
Yeah.
and to still be pliable in many ways.
And I think you bring up a great point of being humble because we don't know everything. When we become right fighters or we become,
Mhm.
well, they're doing it wrong or I know better,
Mhm.
we're not learning from the situation.
No.
And everybody has something to teach us.
Yeah.
People, what is that saying? People enter our lives for
A
reason,
reason, a season, a
season.
lifetime.
Yeah, a reason, a season, and a lifetime. And I've had some people that were very close to me that I thought, oh, we're going to be friends forever. But there was a lesson I had to learn from them, and poof, they're gone. And it can be sad sometimes, but
Yep.
so I think we have to be open all the time, whether
Mhm.
we're frustrated with people or we think they don't align with us. It's like, yeah, but I'm here for a reason. I need to learn something from this situation. What is it? And sometimes we may never know. I'll often say it's to a grandchild that's, having difficulty. It's like, just hang in there because you're going to look back on this situation and go, that's why
That was
that
the lesson.
happened. Because
Mhm.
now I'm living the lesson that I gained from that awful experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's important that we can't just be mad at the things that are happening in our lives.
I'm probably going to sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth because I just said, your past doesn't define your future. But don't forget where you came from.
Mm.
And I think that's where humbleness comes in. I mean, you can have all the titles in the world,
Yeah.
but the best compliments I ever got was when the sales force or my employees said, "Oh, we just love you because you're so down to earth."
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Don't forget. I mean, I
Yeah.
grew up in a town of, as I said, 500 people. I mean,
Yeah.
I came from the country. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't like to forget where I came from
Yeah.
because those qualities also made me
Yeah.
who I am today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that then is achievement versus impact,
Mhm.
what you just said. So a lot of people, a lot of us we chase success, but forget significance.
Mhm.
So legacy focuses on influence and significance, not just accomplishment. So it's important to be people oriented. When you are people oriented or try to be more people oriented, it's not about being followed.
Mhm.
It's about lifting others up by creating opportunities for them.
Yeah.
And that can be at home, even as simple as bringing your children up, you know, create opportunities for them
Yeah.
that they're able to step beyond their comfort zone or put them in situations. One of the things that I was, a lot of things I'm proud of my three children, but, one of the things because we had people, adults in and out of our house. I used to run meetings out of my house and workshops and a whole name it. And in my house, they are not afraid of adults. And I've seen my young, when they were in their 20s, you know, introduce them to the president of our company and they were able to stand their ground and not shrink back. And that
Mhm.
comes from exposing them to those situations. So
Yeah.
the other thing is being able to see people, and we've talked a little bit about this in other podcasts, see people beyond how they see themselves. And
Yes.
again, another gift that was given to me was my mentor who was always putting me in situations that I thought, I'm not ready for this. Can't she just be happy with what I've already achieved? Why does she think I have to achieve more? And again, probably one of the few times she would raise her voice at me is she said to me, Marcia, I will never, ever stop believing that you can be more than you see yourself
Mhm.
because I see that in you and I will not let you rest. And I'm like, oh, here we go, another busy year. But what a huge gift to give somebody.
Mhm.
So working with people, uh, it doesn't matter if your job is with people or not. Are you doing that with your children? Are you doing it with your husband? Are you doing it with your girlfriends? I had a cute example, and I know she watches the podcast, so she's going to hear me say that. We live at camp during the winter. We live at the beach. We're in an RV. We have a wonderful life. My husband fishes all day. I make butter tarts, and I guess I'm going to be doing podcasts now. But um, I have a friend across the street, which I just adore, and she's like, "Marcy, you're always so busy. You're doing all this," and she loves to read, and she sits outside in the sunshine and she plays her games on the iPad. And this year she said, "You know what, Marcia? I'm going to start an exercise class, and I'm going to be in charge of it." So because you see more and you encourage people as how you live your life around other
Mhm.
people, she wants now to be a
That's
part
cool.
of doing that
Absolutely.
energy too. So,
Aw, that's
you know, you grow, and as you grow, you take other people with you.
Mhm.
So a very powerful legacy is what you see in the people that you've developed. And I'm sure you both have seen that in the workplace. The
Yeah.
people you've worked with now have become more than they thought they could
Yeah.
become.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just
absolutely.
the greatest joy to see
It
somebody
is.
come in and be shy and be scared and then to see them grow and develop. Or I can always remember when I would see my staff on the big stage and I'd be like, I'm so proud of them.
Mhm.
Because they never thought they could do that. And then they
Yeah.
do it better than me and they're better at what they do. And it's a proud moment.
Yes. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm. I think too, as when you see it, like being a female mentor, when you see other women fully shining in their role, I
Yes.
truly believe there is no better feeling.
Yeah.
It's a full circle thing. You're just like, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Like it's an
Yeah.
incredible feeling, and again, because I think Marcia, you might have said this, but there's only 2 or 3 times that a woman is celebrated in her life. And that's when she graduates university, has a baby, or college, has a baby, or gets married. Those are the only times that women actually get celebrated or told, congratulations, you're
Yeah.
amazing, you're this, right?
Yeah.
You're that. And just to, again, like it can be any occasion. So it's just, it's important. It's
Yeah.
important to see
Yeah.
those moments and to recognize that too. Yeah.
What I think legacy is so important because again, you said it, retirement is the great equalizer.
Mhm.
Whoa. I used to get to go around, I'm the general manager, I'm this and all of that. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, great, I'm
Yeah.
Linda Rose. But
You forgot that for a while.
I know. But it humbles you pretty darn quickly. But at least I'm able to sit back and go, I'm really proud.
Mhm.
I'm proud of what
Yes.
I've accomplished. I'm proud of some things, and
Yes.
I'm
Mhm.
proud that I took up golf and all these other
Yes.
things, right?
Yeah, I'm proud of you. I'm
I
very
know.
impressed.
But it is true. It's going to come. I know you don't see it, but
Mhm.
it'll be here before you know it.
Yep.
Oh,
And
Yep, for
oh,
sure.
you want to be able to sit back and have that peace because
Yes.
I think when you see some people in their retirement or their later years and they're not content,
Yeah.
it's because it's a life that was unfinished
Yeah.
and they didn't
yes.
explore all the things that they wanted to. I don't really have that regret. I'm excited about playing golf. I'm excited about playing tennis. I'm excited about serving on boards,
Mhm.
spending time with
Yeah.
my granddaughter.
Yeah.
I'm content.
Yeah.
I feel very much at peace with my life.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I mentioned, I think in one of our previous podcasts too, that, Pierre not having a job that gave him a lot of places to build people up or lift people up, he will do it now any opportunity he has, the cashier and, his,
Yeah.
how's your day? And are
That's
you having a
nice.
good day? Those kinds of things. So look for
Mhm.
opportunities to just, say to a woman, like, "God, I love your hat. I went in to get my nails. It was my nails or a pedicure, what the other day. And I walked in and this woman was sitting in a chair and she was very large. She had her eyes down. She didn't really look at me when I came in. She wasn't doing anything. And, I know what it's like to feel that you're not
You're
comfortable and you
invisible.
could just
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
And so I started chatting with her. It's like, oh, can you believe this weather in Winnipeg? We had the nicest conversation. It was just for 2 minutes. Her face lit up because obese people become invisible. And the other people that become invisible is elderly people.
Yeah.
So I always try when I see, because it reminds me of my mother, is that to speak to them. It's like, oh, I love your jewelry. I love your hat. It's like if they're sitting somewhere and just waiting, it's like, are you having a good day today? So that they're not, find something that's your niche, find something, because this isn't just about work. It's about lifting someone up when you walk away, that thing. They don't remember your name, who haven't even told them your name. But they remember how I met
How
this
you
nice
made them
lady.
feel.
Yeah. How you made them feel.
Yeah.
And that's an important legacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
How did you make
Huge.
people feel when they were around you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a huge legacy.
Yeah. I agree.
So in sort of finishing it up, ask yourself some of these questions. What do I want people to say about me when I leave the room?
Mhm.
Like, she's a what, or gee, leaving people feeling good. So what do you want that conversation to be? Because when you leave the room, they're going to talk about you, right? We all know that.
Mhm.
The second thing, am I building success or am I building significance?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
That's I've got goosebumps saying that. Am I building success or am I building significance? And who am I intentionally helping to grow? Is it your child? Is it your grandchild? Is it your husband? Is it your niece? Is it your neighbor's young girl? Is it, the lady sitting in the chair just making her feel better? Who am I helping intentionally to grow? And it doesn't have to be a lot of people. It can be pick one or two and just, I'm going to, teach them things just in the normal course of conversation because of who you become.
I saw this
Mhm.
interview once, and it was asking flight attendants
Oh,
what would
yeah.
make their job better. What could the
Mhm.
passengers do to make their job better? And I thought, what a weird question. Why would you ask that? 92% of all flight attendants said, say hello to me when you get on the plane.
Mhm.
Look at
Wow.
me and acknowledge me. Don't just hand me your garbage that I can put away. And I
Mhm.
thought, isn't that terrible that that is something that they actually experience, that all these people get on a plane and just ignore them,
Yeah.
don't pay attention,
Mhm.
but actually look at them. Hey, how are you today?
Yes.
How's your day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're there to serve us and to
Yeah.
make
They're gonna
make
save
us
your life.
comfortable.
Yeah.
But I
Save
saw
their
it.
life.
Yeah, I thought it was very
Yes.
interesting that something
That's
as simple as that. I
Yeah.
thought that was actually quite
It's
disturbing.
true. Like people
Yes.
treat them like they're invisible.
Yeah.
I've always said hi. They're literally right there. Like
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
says good morning, you should say good morning. Or
But they,
hello.
Yeah.
it was interesting
Like,
that was a comment that
yeah.
many people just got on
I
the
can
plane.
I can see
Ignore
that.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
So, and the last two questions to think about is what values am I modeling every day?
Mm-hmm.
So, what are those core values that you want to, and are you modeling? You may think you have them, but are you actually living them? And
You know, I know this. I like this. I
Yeah.
like this topic. But I was, I hang out in Bermuda a lot, and I got to meet a lot of really
yes, we
cool
know you
women.
do. Hang
I
on
know
to you.
it's the best.
Hang
Thank
out
you,
in,
Michael and Richard.
Bermuda.
But I got to meet some really cool women, and I know
Yes.
I told you about that. But there was this one woman that came down. Her daughter came down, and she was just absolutely. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see her, and she was just this bright light, this beautiful young lady. But her mom came, and we were sitting around the fire, and my question to her was, "Tell me your story.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Mhm.
tell me your story." And it wasn't about me. It wasn't about anybody else. And she told us her amazing life story for almost 2 hours. But how many times do you sit with other people and say, tell me your story?
Yes, we all want to talk about our own story.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes,
But you
that's
learn
huge.
so much by listening to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you've just elevated her and lifted her up
And in
made
her daughter's
heard.
eyes, her mom, you could tell she was really proud of
Yeah.
her mom. And it was a really neat moment.
Yeah.
That,
Oh,
that
that's
I-
Moment
that
for
I-
both of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is such a good thing to remember. Tell me your story. I got to
Yeah.
remember that.
Well, that's a lot better than, oh, what do you do?
Ah,
Who cares what you
I-
do? Tell me what your
That's it.
story
I
is.
cringe. Like
yeah.
I love when somebody comes up to me and said, "Oh, like what products are you doing right now? What like just just something different than, oh, who are you? What do you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's so
We're not defined
boring.
by
Like,
that.
And, a
yeah,
lot of times I've found when you ask people, tell me a little bit about yourself, is, oh, nothing interesting. It's like, no, no, I don't, no. Everybody has a story.
yeah,
And even if you have to get
yeah,
them going by saying, well, what did you do in high school? What were your extracurricular activities? How did you meet your husband? I love the how do you meet your husband
yeah. I
stories.
love
And,
that too.
did you go to university? Did you start working at what? Just anything to get them talking. Because every woman has a story and
Yeah,
every woman deserves to be heard. And that's
absolutely.
one of our things that we talk about. And then, of course, the last thing is, if my title disappeared tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
what would remain?
Mm.
And again, that's back to retirement, being that once you're retired, there's no title.
Mhm.
So what is it that's there that you can still be
That's
proud
why I'm so proud of what we're doing here, because we're still putting the focus on women
Yeah.
and the
Yes.
focus on
Yeah.
helping people, maybe just to share some of the things we've
Yeah.
learned. It's
Mhm.
not about teaching and
No.
it's not about
Mhm.
telling. It's about, here's what we've experienced.
Yeah.
Here's some advice that might help you on your
Mhm.
journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's more than just what you do. It's who you are and how you're walking through your life. And I think it's yeah, I think about, the season that I've been through, and it's just like, when you know that you have the power to choose what's for you, what's not for you, your work is very different. Your work is so
Yeah.
different, and you will react to things differently. And I think a lot of women in my age category who are still working a corporate job or whatnot, you're probably struggling between that balance, that power struggle, right? Of I have this job, I've worked so hard, I put so much money into what I do, and it's like, right, but you're not what you do. You are
That's
who you
right.
are.
Yes.
So
Not
take
what you
care
do.
of yourself, because yeah, if your job was to disappear tomorrow or whatever, you have to be okay with you,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's about you.
Yes.
You are number one, your priority
Yeah.
number one. You gotta take care of that first.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great note to end on, Rochelle. Success is about what you gain. Legacy is about what you give.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
And your greatest achievement may not be what you built for yourself, but what you built in other people. So
Yeah.
I hope you will all give some thought to your legacy beyond success. And again, we thank you for listening. And please follow us on Instagram,
Yeah.
YouTube,
LinkedIn,
and Voices,
all the
LinkedIn,
platforms.
all the platforms. And we really, really appreciate you. And we'll see you next time. Bye.